Now, once you've gone through, you enter your income, your operating expenses, your startup costs and assets, fixed assets, liabilities, and your loan information. You click here on the income statement. You will notice that you have a completely filled out income statement. It fills out 5 years worth of income statement for you to use. You'll notice up top has the title income statement. You'll notice that the name of the company carried over from what we entered in on the start sheet. Over on the left, you'll notice the names of the revenue services the revenue or income, I'm sorry, that we generate. You'll notice that amount. You also notice that it increases monthly. This is based off of that monthly increase that we entered in on the startup page when we told it how much we expected to increase on an annual basis. So you'll notice that for each of the services, you'll see a slightly increased monthly for the revenue brought in. You'll see the total for that revenue on a monthly basis. You'll see it summarized on a quarterly basis. Does that for the first 3 years, actually for the first 4 years. I'm sorry, for this one, for the entire 5 years. It does it for the income statement. On some of the other one, it summarizes after the first few years. But it gives you a month by month and then a quarterly breakdown, a quarterly total, I should say, of each revenue source, each expense. I'm sorry, these are cost of goods here. So that was entered in earlier. I believe we did it as a percentage of our revenue. You have your operating expenses here, and what you have here, and I'm actually glad we see this because you can actually adjust these. Get these here. You can open this up, and down at the bottom here, you have your net income, your EBITDA. You complete out your income statement. You can go along and edit these however you need. I'm just double clicking along here. You can go along and, like I said, those numbers are there. Essentially, the numbers just exceeded with the cell size, so you can expand those as needed, and you'll see the numbers there. And down at the bottom here, it'll have your net income as well. You'll also notice if you click on your balance sheet, you have a completely filled out balance sheet that gives you, now I haven't checked this basically to see how the cash flows, to see if the company makes money or if it runs out of money. We essentially just entered in some basic numbers. My guess is it probably does not cash flow because the revenue was relatively small and we had a pretty big loan with some expenses in there. So in that case, on the cash flow, we'll look just a moment, it'll short run out of money, but also you can kind of get an idea for that here where you see all of the red as well. But it'll have your liabilities. This is the balance sheet, so give the overall balance at the bottom of what you have in the bank. This is factoring in the $500,000 loan as well as the $10,000 in asset that the business already had. Each month, you can see that the business is losing money here each month. It's kind of dipping down here. Money keeps dipping. Let's see. I don't think this will ever turn around because we had a relatively low income, and the amount of increase that we have per month or per year for income was relatively low. But just to show you how the sheet works. So you can see that on cash flow. You can see essentially how much we're losing or what our ending balance is each month here. I'm sorry, how much we're losing. Cash balance. Net cash is how much we're losing each month. Now, essentially, if you have a business that has high enough revenue, or eventually the revenue turns around here, rather than seeing all of this red, you would see some black come here and see the business turn around. Typically, most small businesses do lose a bit of money that first year or so before they do see a turnaround. But the reason why we're seeing red here is because essentially we have a really low income amount. We can either increase this. Let's say if this was 13, and we'll add, just to give you an idea, 10, and our annual growth will increase as well. Cost of goods will make it a little more reasonable. And we'll click on the cash flow. And see with this one, making money each month. Yep. So with this one, actually, we're making money. We start off by spending a large lump sum, but then you'll notice each month after that, we make money, we make money, we make money. We're in the red, and then eventually we get to the black here where we're making money, and our bank balance is just growing here. So all of that is just basically depending upon what you enter in for this information here. But what that does is it helps you essentially get an idea of how much you need for your business to get the business started, how much funding you need. It helps you get an idea for when you'll run out of business or run out of money, if you do run out of money. If you click on the chart sheet here, although it'll take a moment for it to load, there are also charts as well too. The charts are essentially your revenue, expense, and profits for your 1 year as well as your 5 year. So you can use those charts as needed and print those off as well. That is it in a nutshell. Now, for our more complicated businesses that I mentioned earlier, there are some businesses that fluctuate in terms of revenue. For example, I used to once own a coffee shop, and there are times where coffee shops are a little bit busier than other times. So you may have businesses that experience seasonal fluctuations in revenue. So what you can do in that scenario, if you have one of those business, and one of the first things that I recommend, I'm sorry, I'm just going to expand this out. Let me just kind of back up here. One of the first things that I do recommend is when you first get a copy of the spreadsheet, make a copy of it. And the reason I say that is because there are lots of formulas that are in here, and so that if you accidentally delete one of them or change one of them here, it throws things off. Now, if you do have that happen, you can always reach out to us through our website, and we'll be happy to assist with getting you another copy of the spreadsheet. But I do recommend making a copy of the spreadsheet to start off. That way you can make changes and have your original. If you do purchase the spreadsheet through our website or through Etsy, chances are you'll still have a link to your original where you can download it should you need to do so. You can download another copy of it. So for those businesses that do have seasonal fluctuations or periods where business may either be lower for whatever reason or business may increase for either reason, you can go into the income statement here and make adjustments as needed. Now we have them set to grow at a nice neat percentage over the course of a year, and that percentage is based off of what we enter here for our annual growth. I increase that a little bit. So that's what that's based off of. But you don't have to go off of that. You can go into the actual income statement, and let's say you think the annual growth is going to be more. You can go in and make that adjustment. You'll notice that what the income statement does is it allows you to make that adjustment, and then each month from there on simply continues on with that annual increase as entered in on the previous sheet. Now, once you enter that in, the formula that was previously there is now gone, which is the reason why I recommend making a copy of the spreadsheet. But you can do this by month and go through and make adjustments as you need on a monthly basis to account for the fluctuations in your business. Most businesses don't see a smooth increase over the course of a year. Some of them may. But if you want to, kind of play with that and, create some fluctuations with that, the place to do that is right here in the income statement. And you can do that by each product or service. And you can do it each month. And you can do increases, and you can go along and say, okay, what's going to decrease this month? You decrease it, and you'll know. And so you can go in and you can play with that from there. And what that does is that allows you to count for, any type of seasonal fluctuations that you may have for your business. When you do that, that information automatically carries over to the balance sheet, the cash flow, the charts, and everything else. So all of that is accounted for. So technically, the only two places that you would need to enter any information is where you see the white areas on the startup page, or if you need to go into detail for the revenue or expenses for that matter. If you want to, you can actually, I'm sorry, not the cost of goods here. The expenses are down here. So if you need to go in and kind of make some adjustments to that, the income statement basically is the place where if you need to make seasonal adjustments or temporary fluctuations, whether it be income or expenses. That is the place where you can go to do those things. And that is it, my friends. With that being said, your financial projections are ready for you to print off. Now, it may take a little bit of editing. Typically, it's formatted for you to be able to print page by page, year by year. However, numbers can grow or be, not necessarily grow, but depending on the business type, what you bring in revenue-wise can fluctuate there. And so this can, it can fluctuate a little bit here. So what you'll want to do is just kind of play with the printing for it. See how it looks when you do a print preview beforehand and make adjustments as necessary. That's one of the other things that if you do need assistance with, you can feel free to reach out to us through our website, and we'll be happy to assist with as well. But with that being said, that concludes my video here today on how to use the smartupstart.com's financial projections creator. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us through our website at thesmartupstart.com. Thank you and enjoy your day.